what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Televised Podcast. My name is Anna, and today we're going to be talking about everything Supergirl, episode 8 of season 5. It was the mid-season finale, even though we do have Crisis next week, so there'll be an episode next week, but I think it's great that they kind of decided to quit, put a pause on it, and then we got Crisis, and then we, because this is the mid-season finale for, Supergirl's storylines, the storylines involving the show, solely and specifically. So we had this mid-season finale. I thought it was great. It obviously nothing will ever top the mid-season finale for season 3 when Rain started beating the shit out of Kara to a Christmas song. Nothing will beat that. Nothing will. Sorry, Supergirl writers, but nothing is ever going to top that as a mid-season finale. It was heartbreaking and hilarious at the same time. And it feels like it's been a long time since I've sat and recorded an episode, but it's just because we were off for a week because of the holiday. I hope everybody, if you're in America, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. If you're anywhere else, I hope you had just a great normal week, a great normal weekend, a normal week. And also, I'm still not caught up on Batwoman. I will get caught up for next week. I need to figure out how I'm going to do this next week in terms of podcast, because I really want to do a podcast about every episode of Crisis. So what I'm thinking is Crisis will air Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I might release an episode Thursday, Friday, and Saturday that next week, talking about Crisis, talking about everything that's going to go down, the works, because I can't imagine how much shit they're going to try and shove into these episodes if they're kind of slow, which, because Elseworlds was a little slow. If they're kind of slow like that, I'll probably combine them, but I imagine that they're not going to waste any of their 5 hours that they have. So next week, that is going to happen. I apologize if my voice is a little scratchy. I am kind of ill, have a sore throat, but powering through it. Also, like I said, I greatly apologize that we're not talking about Batwoman again this week. If you really look forward to that, I'm so sorry. I'm just so behind because it's next week is this week is finals here at my school at Columbia. We have 2 finals weeks kind of, because people are well, I don't want to do the final the last day, so we'll do it week 14 and then we'll just have week 15. What? Don't give me 2 weeks to stress out about, so now I'm stressed all the time. So I'm pushing through it, though. We're going to get through it. And I, again, greatly apologize for not being caught up with Batwoman. But like I said, this weekend, I'm going to catch up. I'm going to be with it for Batwoman because I'm so excited for Crisis. And also, really quick before we get into it, I just wanted to say a quick message, I guess. Not a message, I don't know, I wanted to say that I stand with Melissa Benoist, who plays Supergirl. She last week bravely came out with and made a video saying that she is a survivor of domestic abuse. I cannot imagine a more courageous and brave person, and I'm so honored to be able to watch her on my television screen every single week, and I'm so thankful for her for sharing this story, because again, like she said, I think what she say, 1 in 4 women will suffer from domestic violence so in their lifetime. So like she said, reach out, get help. She listed the hotlines in her post. If you have not seen her video yet, it's on her IGTV. It was just so brave, so honest, so raw. I was very upset watching it, and I just wanted to say, again, I stand with Melissa, and I am so incredibly proud to be a fan of hers and to be a fan of Kara, because I cannot imagine a better real-life superhero to portray my favorite superhero. So with all of that being said, sorry it was a little chaotic, I guess we're just gonna get into it. I have some stuff about the episode, and then also I want to talk about some cool stuff that has been coming out about the episode's post-crisis. I'm very excited. But first, Supergirl, episode 8. This episode was called The Wrath of Rama Kahn. Originally, for some reason, we all thought that was supposed to be episode 7, but it wasn't. So, here we are. We're talking about the Wrath of Rama Kahn, and getting into Rama Kahn, we had some stuff between Andrea Rojas, Rama Kahn, and Leviathan. Andrea, she decides in the beginning of the episode that since Russell is dead, she's like, you know what? I'm gonna quit Leviathan. I don't care what happens. They killed my mans, so I'm done. Like, it's over. She's just cannot stomach to do anything that Leviathan asks of her anymore. She's gonna relinquish, because she already she still has the power inside of her from the medallion, but she just doesn't want to use it. She doesn't want to be a part of it. So she's like, I'm quitting. But Rama Kahn, he shows up at Catco and he's like, hey girl, I got some jobs for you to do for Leviathan. And she's like, what? I quit. And he's like, nuh-uh. So he gets some dirt and like pushes her up against the wall with this dirt. And she's like, what? He's like, basically, if you do this one thing for me, I will let you go. I'll let you leave Leviathan. And she's like, oh my God, that's awesome. And she's like, what about my father? Like, what's gonna happen to him? He's like, yeah, he can keep his money. It's not gonna be worth anything when we're done, but he can keep it. And so she's like, fine. It sounds like a good deal. It sure did sound like a good deal. So she's like, okay, fine. I'm gonna do this one thing, and then I get to leave forever. And so Rama Kahn, he reveals, because he's an arrogant bastard, he decides and he reveals to Andrea, he's like, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do Pompeii, but again, in National City. And Andrea's like, you can't just do that. I'm not gonna help you do that. What are you talking about? And so she kind of uses her like little magic smoke powers to like kind of burst into the DEO for like a hot second to be like, oh my God, Rama Kahn is coming and he's making a volcano, basically, until she gets dragged back and he basically kind of like stabs her power into this dirt and keeps her trapped there. And he kind of uses her as like a siphon for that shadow energy that Andrea has. And so we kind of leave her there for a hot minute until she works with Supergirl to take down Leviathan after Jean goes and like yanks the staff out of the dirt, and so she's no longer trapped. And it was great. It was so good. I was so happy to see Jean helping and saving Andrea, even though obviously the last time that they saw Akrata, she was kind of causing some trouble at the DEO. So I really appreciated that. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was a great moment. She's like, basically she was like, leave me. And Jean's like, no, I'm going to help you. I can help you and I will. And so she kind of transforms into the hero that I had kind of theorized that she would become. I just really, really hoped that she would become this hero. And she kind of did. Her and Kara kind of fight with Rama Kahn, and she comes out from like the basement where Jean freed her from, and she basically just like takes Rama Kahn and like takes a dive with him into, kind of sends him to hell. I don't know exactly where he went. Maybe I wasn't paying attention hard enough, but in the end she comes out alive, unscathed. We see her at Catco and she puts in her obsidian contacts, and she watches her memories of her and Russell, and she's just so upset. She's crying. Everything about Julie, everything about Julie's performance in this episode was so good. She kind of managed to steal like every scene that she was in, and she's kind of the one like performance that really stood out from the episode that I was like, oh my god, like she was so good. And you know, like she didn't really have like a humongous role or whatever, but she definitely, I remember what happened to Rama. Anyway, I'll get back to that in a second. She definitely like gave just amazing performance. She you know, she was just so heartbreaking, especially she finally was like, Russell, you know, kind of just speaking to the memory of him. She's like, I did it, like I left Leviathan, I'm finally free. You know, she's kind of like, it took me long enough, but I'm finally free. And so that was awesome. And I remember what happened to Rama now. She brought him back to Leviathan HQ, and that blonde lady, who I still can't remember her name, somebody kindly told me in the comments of my last episode, but I can't remember her name anyway. So the blonde lady, she was basically like, thanks, Sakrata, I'll handle him from here. And she basically strips him of his leadership role in Leviathan. She's like, I'm in charge now. She's like, I'm the captain now. Like, literally. And it was great. I think she's interesting. I don't know. Some of the Leviathan stuff, like with these weird aliens, is a little bit like, just give me more about them. Like, stop with the mystery. I'm not as intrigued as you want me to be. But I definitely think she's very interesting, for sure. But also, really quick, one more thing that I wanted to mention about Andrea and Russell is that there was a parallel to Kara and Lena this episode where Andrea was looking at a picture of herself and Russell, and that's when Ramakan attacked her for the first time. But at the end of the episode, which I'll talk about in a bit, Kara and Lena were both looking at pictures of the two of them together, and I'm like, are they seeing this? Is this just to be mean? Like this, like at this point, this is either straight up they're mean, they're queer baiting, all of this stuff, or it's like gonna happen. Like that's how I feel about Supercorp at this point, which I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. I will talk about them later, but I just also wanted to mention that, like, you know, this parallel to Russell and Andrea, and then also like at the end of the episode when she was looking back on her memories with Russell, I don't know. I have this gut feeling, and I hope I'm right, but I don't really know where it comes from. I just have this gut feeling that at some point, Lena and Kara are going to be able to look at each other's pasts or look at their memories together, and that's one of the things that helps bring them together. Like I just feel like it's going to happen. Like I feel like that's what we're building up to. And so Andrea, looking at these memories of her and Russell, it felt like the example that didn't work. Do you know what I mean? Like because sometimes in shows, you know, they'll put like two things that will happen kind of, they'll parallel two things. One of them will end poorly and the other one will end in a decent way. And I feel like Andrea and Russ, like that's the one that didn't end well. But Kara and Lena, like, is going to be the one that ends well for them. I mean, you know, we can only hope, but that's I don't know, that I just think I just have this feeling. I'll talk about it later a little more because there's something that Jean says that really kind of brings me with that. But anyway, speaking of Jean, we had a lot of scenes, well, not actually a lot of scenes, but Jean and Malefic played a very prominent role in this episode, in this story, and I loved every minute. Ever since, now that they're bros again, I love them. They're so good. Malefic proved that people can change and they can be better. And Jean even said to Alex, he's like, literally, quote, "We have to let them do better, bring them back into the light. Otherwise, what's the point in trying to save everyone?" End quote. And I just loved, I loved everything about it. Like how much he believed in Malefic. He genuinely was like, you know what? I don't know if Malefic is going to, you know, I don't know what he's going to do. But I do know that I trust him and that I saw his intentions, and I trust that he's not going to change them. I trust that he's changed for the better and that he's not going to revert back. He's changed. He's a changed person. And I loved that. I really, really adored that. I also loved that like brotherly moment that they had at the end where Jean gave Malefic his car, which is his spaceship, and we got a Magan mention. Malefic is going to go hang out with Magan on Mars, which is great. He's going to try and end the Martian war between the green and the white Martians. Hopefully they can succeed. This war has been going on forever, and I would really like for it to be resolved, before the show ends. Because that just makes me really sad. So hopefully Malefic can assist Magan in trying to end this war, which would be awesome. So then one more thing was that we saw the monitor at the end of this episode. This is the first time since the finale of season 4 that we've seen the monitor on Supergirl. I'm a little worried about what that means for Supergirl during Crisis. Hopefully it won't be a boys club like all the other crossovers. But it was the first time that we saw him. And he was basically like, Jean Jones, you've passed your test. Like, Malefic was your test, and I found your strengths, and I found your weaknesses, and you learned that your strengths are your weaknesses, or whatever he said. Your weaknesses are your strengths. I don't know. So he showed up. It was, it was interesting. I don't really understand his tests because I don't watch Arrow. I don't watch Flash. So I mean, I should, but I just don't, I'm not caught up with them. So I really don't, I don't understand his tests, but I'll read about it. I'll read all about them. So I'm glad Jean passed. It can't be a bad thing to pass his test, I would imagine. So I want to talk about Lena now. She's so lonely. She's just so lonely. She's so lonely. And she's so dramatic. She at the beginning of the episode, Kara basically, so Alex and Brainy free Kara from her ice cube at the Fortress of Solitude. And so Kara flies pretty much directly to Lena's hideout. She uses the Fortress and Myriad to track Lena. She's like, I can track its energy using the Fortress. So she does that, flies to the mountain or whatever, one of Lex's old hideouts. And so Kara's like, Lena, I'm not gonna let you, Lena, I'm not gonna let you go to the dark side or whatever. And so Lena, while she's in there, Lex has some interesting cavalry at this fortress, and it's basically like loads these cannons, and it shoots her with like this kind of photon beam or something, some kind of energy. And so then Kara kind of just like shakes it off and gets back up. Lena lets that one fire, but then kryptonite cannons start coming out, and Lena's like, whoa, 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 I'm not out to kill Kara, I'm just out to make her sad. Like, literally, like, that's pretty much what she says. She's like, we don't kill, like, turn these off ASAP, like, right now. And so, it was a great moment because she was just frantically, like, running to disable these kryptonite cannons, and I think, again, like, it proved that she kind of masks her emotions for Kara behind this no-kill policy. But I genuinely think that even if she was out here on a killing spree, like, just killing everybody, like, even if she did not have this no-kill policy that she has, I think that she wouldn't kill Kara, because that's how much she cares about Kara. Like, she just doesn't want to admit it. And so, yeah, I think that's how she feels. And so then she kind of totally gets into a gunfight with the DEO, like pretty much a Cold War with the DEO. Alex has Claymore pointed right at Lena, which is if you'll recall, is the canon that the last crazy president was like, hey, we're going to use this to like kill aliens or something. I don't remember, but it was in season 4 that they talked about Claymore. And so it's at the DEO. They can use it at the DEO. And Alex is like, I'm just going to point Claymore right at Lena. And everybody else is like, what? And Lena's like, I don't care. Point whatever you want at me. I'm going to get my mind control thing going and it's going to be great. You won't be able to hurt me then. And that's like the thing. I think that she totally like arrogantly thought that she could just pull the whole thing off and then nobody would be. But again, like it's not like she's ill-intended. Like she just doesn't want anybody to hurt anybody else ever again. So she's like, you know what? Once Myriad goes up and I get no cherry, you know, that her project out the window, she's like, you can try and point Claymore at me, but you're not going to be able to. You're not. So yeah, so they're totally, I mean, you know, she probably does not believe that they're going to blow her up. And she's just so lonely. She literally says, who needs friends when you can save the world? But she also says, she's like, Hope, you're my only friend. And Hope, this was like the best moment of the episode because it was just so heartbreaking. She's literally like, Ms. Luthor, I'm not your friend. I'm something you created to serve a purpose. Like, she's like, I'm not your friend. You made me. I'm just an AI. You need to calm down. And I loved it. It was because it just showed how truly and utterly broken Lena is, that she's willing to call this basically a robot in Eve's body her friend, and her technology is literally like, ma'am, I'm not your friend, I'm just your pet robot. And Lena's like, oh yeah, sorry, forgot about that. Like the instant somebody is nice to her, she's like, you're my friend. And that's another thing. She's like, yeah, I should have learned from Andrea and Kara and, you know, Lex. I'm like, but you never learned because you're out here calling Hope your friend. You clearly did not learn. I mean, I understand that you've worked with Hope this whole time. She's not betrayed you yet. But come on. Like, you're like, I'm swearing off friendship, but Hope, you're my only friend. It's so funny. And I think that the quote and that mention from Hope Eve saying basically, Lena, I'm not your friend, I'm your robot and you're my master, basically. I think that's what made Lena decide to turn in Eve at the end of the episode. Because like, I don't think she would have done that if Hope Eve hadn't said, we're not friends, like, you don't have any friends, basically. And Lena's like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to not care about you literally at all. So she's like, okay, I'm just gonna let Hope Eve take the fall for it. And she believes that this is Hope's purpose, and it is. That's what she made Hope for, to protect and develop this Not No Cherry project with her. And so she's like, basically, by Hope going to jail instead of Lena, she's like protecting the project. So she's like, you're just fulfilling your own duty to me by doing this. That's why I think, because some people were like, she crossed a line, you know, how could she let Eve take the fall? I'm like, what? Like, Hope Eve literally just told her, hey, we're not friends. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to serve a purpose. I'm here to protect this project. And Lena's like, you're right. So you going to jail is going to protect this project. And so, I don't know. I don't think it really crossed a line, because I don't know. Kara didn't really act like it crossed the line. But Kara didn't act like anything Lena did cross the line, so it's fine. She also said, I lost. Sometimes the good guys don't win. And it's so sad, because Lena truly, 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 truly believed with her whole heart and soul that she was doing good. Like, she believed that she was doing a good thing. And even Kara was like, I know that you're doing a good thing, but when they see Myriad, people won't think that. They'll see you as the same crazed, like Nan or Astra or Lex, like, and Lena just kind of like gives up on everything, and she's like, you know what, I'm a good person and I believe in that, and I'm not going to listen to anything any of you have to say. And I don't know, I just thought it was really interesting that she literally was like, sometimes the good guys don't win. So she believes that Kara and the DEO are like public enemy number one, because of them stopping her project. Which is interesting. Again, I don't know. I think she's not a villain. Like, that's the thing. And they told us, Kara told us like 16 times this episode that she's not a villain. Same with Alex. Alex even said it kind of at the end of the episode. She was like, you know what? She's not a villain. And so she's not a villain. Like, I want to call her a sympathetic villain, but she's not. She's just sad. She's just sympathetic, period. I just feel bad for her. And, I can understand that, she's been so hurt so many times by so many people that she's like, it would be so good if nobody could hurt anybody ever again. And like, yeah, it sounds good in theory, but when you're taking away people's free will, people don't like that. People aren't down for that. They're not down to have their free will taken. And so, I don't know. I just thought it was super interesting to see Lena literally just say, like, the good guys don't win. Like, it was so heartbreaking. And the thing is that every other time that Lena's done something, she's won. She's been the good guy and she's won. Like, this is the first time that she feels that she lost, So every time that she's used these devices, and really the thing is that, like, when you think back on season 2 with the lead dispersal device, I mean, that was like morally questionable. I mean, yes, the Daxamites were attacking, but she sent lead into the air to kill them, basically. And she's like, yeah, there's gonna be good and bad. Like, take the good with the bad. I'm just doing what I always do. This is my yearly save the world attempt, and I don't know. I thought it was so interesting. I really liked Lena in this episode, even though she's super, super dramatic. And sometimes I don't believe what the writers put in her mouth, but that's okay. I know we're going to come back from all of this. But I also did really appreciate that we kind of seemed to have wrapped up the No Cherry storyline. So hopefully it'll kind of be like last season where, yeah, in the beginning we saw Lena experimenting with a lot of people with that black kryptonite, but then toward the end it was only a couple times, it ended up saving people in the end. I feel like that's going to happen again this year, where we're basically just going to be like, oh yeah, Lena, what about your mind control thing? Can you help us out here? Because that's always what happens. It was also an eventful episode for Alex. It was very Alex focused. It was very Kara and Alex focused as much as it was Kara and Lena focused. I thought that was really interesting. And she seemed to have people kind of perplexed in general in the fandom. I feel like some people were super like, go Alex, I really liked this moment for her. And some people were kind of like, what the hell? Who's this? Where's Alex? And I'm like, no, I understand. I really liked it. I thought it was great because we got to see this point of contention between the Danvers sisters. Because being sisters doesn't mean that you're in agreement all the time and that you're working together, that you're totally vibing together all the time. You know what I mean? Not to be like, we vibing, but you know what I mean. And you don't agree on stuff always, and you don't do and so I thought it was great to see them kind of go head to head and be like, hey, I'm not feeling like Lena, or Alex is basically like, Kara, I just don't believe you when I say that, or I don't agree with you when you say that Lena's a good person. I just don't agree. Or that Lena's trying to do good and that we shouldn't treat her like everybody else. Like, she's like, I don't agree. So I don't know. I thought it was great because it's Alex seeing the world and Kara just seeing Lena and the frustrations that the two of them have with those with those 2 points kind of coming to a head was really cool to see. I don't know. I really liked it, especially that balcony scene. I thought it was great. It's one of my favorite Danvers sisters moments, maybe of the whole series, just because I really like. As much as I love when people get along, I also love drama and angst. When I know that they're going to come back together in the end. Like, if they had the Danvers sisters fighting and I was like, holy crap, they're never coming back from this, then I'd be super upset. But obviously, they came back together in the end of the episode, so it was, it was fine. And I don't know, I really enjoyed just seeing them fight. And not like in a malicious way, like neither of them were malicious. They're just both so headstrong and so stubborn and so like solid in their beliefs. And normally those beliefs match up and they can just go together down the same path of being headstrong and stubborn and stuck in their beliefs and moving together to save the day. But this time their beliefs just did not match up. And I don't know, I just think that's a really interesting dynamic, which is really cool. And so I kind of did hate, though, that Alex used Kara hologramming in to be like, help me, Lena, you're my only hope, to plant a virus in Lena's system. Because then Lena was basically like, I knew it was just a Trojan horse. Here she is, Kara Danvers, using me again. I hated that. And even Kara was like, Alex, what the hell is wrong with you? I was just trying to talk to her and you planted a bug in her system. So that was rough. But I also liked Brainy and Alex kind of had a moment of tension as well, because Alex had to decide between allowing Malefic's powers to kind of go as far as they could go, or keeping all of the psychic inhibitors at the DEO turned on. Brainy was like, if we turned off these inhibitors, Malefic would be able to destroy Nanocherry, like, right now. And Alex is like, well, I can't just expose my my DEO agents to either of these Q waves, to Malefic's manipulating Q waves or to Lena's manipulating Q waves. And Alex has to basically decide very, 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 very quickly what she wants to do. And Brainy, he's kind of like, director, like, what do you want me to do? And then he literally is like, Alex, what do you want me to do? Claymore is about to blow up Lena because you're making me count down to this blow up Lena moment. And Alex is like, fine, you know what? Everybody turn your psychic inhibitors off, everybody go. And I thought, I don't know, I just really loved this moment of Brainy kind of pulling Alex back from the staunchly militaristic way that she was acting. Not in a bad way, because she's the leader of the DEO. She has to be a leader. But I really liked that Brainy was able to pull her back by like being like, Alex, you really want me, with that one yelling of that word, of her name, it just felt like him pulling her back to her humanity, and not allowing her to kill Lena. I thought that was really cool. And so it showed a huge difference in the mindset this episode did of Alex now that she's DEO director, and she's been director for about a year. 2 years? A year. Right? She only became director in season 4, right? Yeah. Yeah, because that's when John quit. Okay, anyway, sorry. So it's definitely shown like the growth from when she was kind of arguing with Haley and in the beginning of season 4 to now, where she's like, you know what, Jean, you had to make these tough decisions. I am just doing what I think is best. Because at the beginning of season 4, she was like, Jean, how do I do this? How do I make these tough decisions? And now she's like, I know how to make these. I'm doing what I think is best. But now everybody's mad at me about it. And so I just thought that was interesting, especially to see how much Alex has truly grown in this time that we've spent with her as director. So we've kind of been seeing, people have been saying Alex is kind of stagnant, this season, which, I mean, a little, is kind of fair. But, it was nice to see this growth when you compare between season 4 and season 5. So that was nice. And then Kara poor baby Kara. She just screamed about Lena being innocent the whole time. And she's like, I'm not going to give up on you. And she believed in Lena so much that she put her hands up in surrender in face of the kryptonite cannons. Like, she knew that Lena wouldn't shoot. And Kara knew that that Lena could have easily, like, just taken her out if she wanted to. But Kara stood there with her hands up. It was such a powerful moment to see her just be like, I surrender. I'm powerless to you right now, Lena, and you can choose what you will to do with me. And Kara kind of, like I said last time, she kind of resigns herself to this punishment because she believes she deserves it from Lena. And also, it was interesting that Kara acknowledged that she knew that it could not and should not have been that easy. I talked about this last episode. She finally said, like, I knew that it was too easy with Lena. Like, it was just too quick, too easy, there had to have been something bubbling under the surface. And she acknowledged that, and that was cool. And I love the scene where Kara was fighting Rama Kahn, where he was ranting to Kara because, of course, every villainous man has to take that arrogant moment to stall his plan and describe exactly what he wants to do to the hero woman. Or to anybody, really. It's not really a gender thing. It's the bad guy villain always does this. I've seen Charlie's Angels in the theater 3 times. Please go see Charlie's Angels. But in that film, the villain of the story, I'm not going to say who, but he totally does this as well. I'm like, oh my God. And they totally, like, he just takes like 5 minutes to describe his plan. He totally could have had Kara, but no, he waited until Akrata could, like, come out and jump him. And, but he says to Kara, don't you see? People will never change. And Kara said, people can change. That's what's so beautiful about this world, which I thought was interesting because it directly contrasted Lena when she said earlier, you showed me the ugliness of humanity to Kara. I don't really know what to do with that, but it was just an interesting contrast that I saw. And so she also said at the end of the episode, if we can save Malefic's soul, maybe we can save Lena's. And if that is not foreshadowing, then I don't know what is. Also, Kara was so upset that she turned down food with Alex and Kelly to go sulk in her apartment. And if that's not concerning, I don't know what is. Kara never turns down food. Oh boy. So the Supercorp endgame of it all. Listen, guys, I'm fully in my crackhead zone right now. I've got my tinfoil hat on. I just fully believe that either this is the queer bait of the century or Supercorp's actually happening. Like with all of these parallels to Russell and Andrea, like I talked about earlier. And again, this whole episode was basically that quote from Clark where he was like, yeah, I don't know how you chose between the world and Mon-El, because if it was Lois, I wouldn't be able to choose. I would choose Lois. That was this whole episode. Kara was like, I don't care that the whole world is about to be mind washed. I don't care. Lena's in trouble. And somebody on Twitter was like, I just have to wonder if the Supergirl writers are like, doing this on purpose or if they just do this on accident. I'm like, this can't be an accident at this point. It's not accidental. It's not just Katie and Melissa. It's not just this. It's not just that. It is actually happening. And if it's not for real, then it's definitely the queer bait of the century. They're queer baiting me. But if it is for real, I love the Supergirl staff. Never said anything bad about them. Oh God, I just hope. I have so much hope. And them looking at the same damn picture at the end. And even Caramel shippers pointed out, some stupid Caramel was like, Caramel did it better. And it was Kara looking at the photo booth pictures that she took with Mon-El. And I was like, so you acknowledge that this is blatantly romantic then? They played themselves. They always do. But yeah, so I don't know. It just, everything about this is Supercorp Endgame. Everything about this is Supercorp canon. If not, we're storming Jessica Queller's house and and we're going to complain. We're not going to do anything bad. We're going to complain. I'm going to have a sign that says, let my moms marry. I don't know. I just keep watching these episodes and I'm like, how is this not romantic? How is this not romantic? And like even publications are like, this is romantic, guys. Like EW in their recaps are like, this is romantic. And like, you know, our good old friend over at Hypable J, like he's like, this is romantic. Like everybody's like, this is romantic. How are we not in romance land with Kahn and Lena yet? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know. I'm sorry about ranting, but I just cannot fathom a world in which we're sitting here watching Kara and Lena. I just want the Supercorp endgame, and that's all I wanted. Anyway, so the crisis is coming. A crisis is coming. And we see Mr. John Cryer as Lex Luthor. Hello, sir. A bald man. He's back again. And not gonna lie, I kind of missed him. He's just the worst. And I love him. I mean, I really don't. Like, I don't love him. I just love John's performance as Lex. Like, I hate Lex with a burning passion, but I love John's performance as Lex. He's just so good. He just makes you hate him. He just makes you despise him. And I'm like, oh my God, you're awful. But he says, but first, we have to discuss my sister, which is so interesting because it's like, whoa, bub, what do you want with Lena? God damn it, what do you want with Lena? And we know from all the stills and stuff that he will be a part of the team of heroes for Crisis, at least for the first couple of parts, at least in the Supergirl part. So we will see what happens. Lena is in Crisis. There's a still of her working with Alex, so we will see what happens with that. I have a feeling it's going to be Supercorp a la season 3 when they were fighting, you know, the time when Lena's like, I don't think about you when I'm doing it. Super great quote. Thank you, Supergirl staff. Also, the end of the episode showed that it was, oh God, what's his name? Tom. But I don't remember his last name. Tom from The Flash. You know him. He plays Harrison Wells, or whatever version of Harrison Wells is on the show now. Oh God, I'm not caught up with The Flash. I don't know anything about The Flash. Anyway, so he was there at the end of the episode, and that was not him as any kind of Harrison Wells. He's finally playing someone that's not Harrison Wells. He is playing Pariah. He is the fool who let the Anti-Monitor out of the Phantom Zone. And that's exactly what he did at the end of the episode. He let the Anti-Monitor out of his little cave. He pressed the right buttons, and then it went, you know, with the light, and it was great. So, I mean, it wasn't great. I mean, it was really cool. I definitely, not to be dramatic and nerdy, but I definitely got chills when the Crisis logo appeared. I was like, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening. But it was terrible. Come on, dude. Leave the Anti-Monitor in the cage. He's in there for a reason. It was terrible. And then he's gonna hang out with the heroes like he's some kind of hero. Gross. So Crisis is coming, folks. I will see you next week for Crisis, but we have some information about the next episodes after Crisis. So after Crisis, 510 of Supergirl is called the Bottle episode. Now, for those of you who don't know, in TV land, not the channel, but the world of TV, a bottle episode is where you basically don't have a whole lot of money for an episode, so you use minimal sets. Like, you basically, if, like, for this Supergirl bottle episode, I'm imagining Kara's apartment, the DEO. Basically, you just use sets that are already built. So you don't build anything new, you don't go out on location, you just use the stuff that you already have in the studio. So, you know, like I said, DEO, Kara's apartment. I'm sure that they have Alex's apartment fully built all the time, maybe Lena's apartment now. And also, a bottle episode does not involve minimal to no guest stars, because again, you're not trying to hire new people, you're just trying to keep it within the family so we don't have to pay any more money to anybody else. And so I think this is really interesting that it's happening directly after Crisis, because that means that it's probably going to be a very introspective, character-driven episode that definitely feels and will hopefully kind of encapsulate all of the feelings that Kara and the rest of the Super Friends are left with post-Crisis. I'm really excited about it. If you're looking for an example of like a bottle episode, Gypsy episode 7, I think, the one that everybody like loved on Netflix, was kind of a good example of a bottle episode, because Naomi Watts and Sophie Cookston's characters basically stayed in Sophie Cookston's apartment the whole entire episode. So that kind of was an example of what this episode may be like, where we might just see Kara in her apartment this whole time with like series regular characters going in and out and in and out. And for reference, series regulars on this show are Kara, Alex, Lena, Kelly, Nia, Brainy, Jean, Andrea, and William. And Eve. But, well, I don't know. Who knows? Because, congrats to Andrea. Andrea Brooks had her baby. So adorable. Little Viola, right? I hope I'm saying that right. Viola. Little baby. She had her baby. So, we can assume that Eve won't be around for a hot minute. So, we probably won't see much of Eve in the coming episodes. I mean, maybe we will, but it was kind of the end of her pregnancy where she was like, but she was still kicking right at the end of her pregnancy. So who knows how much we'll see of Eve. But so those are the series regulars that they're going to have to work with. I really just highly doubt that they're going to bring in a bunch of guest stars, especially since they have the 100th episode just 3 episodes later. So they're like, you know what? We're going to save all our money for that, even though we already spent like all of our money on Crisis. So we're going to save what little we have left for that episode. So I would doubt that there'd be like any CGI in this episode. I feel like it's definitely going to be like a very slow paced, very like character driven episode. Hardly any fighting. I just can't imagine like a whole bunch of like crazy intricate aliens. Like, I mean, some hand-to-hand fight scenes I could see, but just nothing crazy, because again, bottle episode, probably not trying to spend a lot of money. But also, I mean, it obviously could just mean that Kara and the rest of them are just kind of sulking and sitting in the aftermath of Crisis. So then for 511 and 512, it's called Back from the Future, not Back to the Future, Back from the Future, Part 1 and Part 2. This is the first time in Supergirl's history that they have had a 2-parter that was not involved in a crossover. I think that's really cool. I think that's awesome. And really quick, it's pretty great because at this time of filming this, I'm pretty sure, at least for Part 2, I don't know about Part 1, but at least for Part 2, Christopher Wood was in Atlanta filming for Legacies, because he plays Kai Parker, and he's going to show up on Legacies. So, hell yeah, he probably won't come back with Win. That's my dream. Hopefully, Mon-El will not show up. And then we have 513, which is the 100th episode of Supergirl. I'm so excited for this episode. I cannot wait. Guys, I just love this show so much. And I'm so excited that it crossed into 100 episodes. Like, when I first started watching the show, I didn't watch season 1 as it was airing, but I watched it like pretty much immediately after it finished airing. So I watched it and we weren't sure what was going to happen with it. We didn't know if it was going to get canceled, what was going to happen, and then they announced that it was moving to the CW, to Vancouver. And that was the best news in the whole world, because I just love this show, and it really helped me, like in a time that I really needed Supergirl and I needed hope in my life. Not to get super deep, but definitely was a very influential show in my life, and it still is. And so for it to reach 100 episodes when for a hot minute we thought it would only ever have 22 is just amazing. Or 20. However many episodes season 1 has. I think it's just 20. So yeah, I love this show. I love it so much. So it's called It's a Super Life. And I have a feeling, because they wouldn't do this unless they were going to really go for it. I have a feeling that it's going to be kind of a reflective episode where, based on It's a Wonderful Life, which is a Christmas movie. So you could probably find it on TV anytime right now. Go turn on CBS or something. They'll be playing it. Maybe ABC. I don't know who has the distribution rights to that movie. But could be NBC as well. But it's a black and white movie where this guy, he meets this angel and he's like, God, I wish I'd never been born or whatever. And so the angel's like, okay, well, how about I show you what the world would look like if you never existed? And he basically goes through and goes to everyone in his lives as if he never existed. And I don't know if they're going to do that with Kara. Like, I really doubt that they would erase her from existence. But I feel like it's going to be kind of an episode where Kara maybe travels with some kind of imp or some kind of something and sees what her life would have been like if she'd made different choices, which would be super interesting. And so here comes my thing where I was like, so Jean, in this episode, he said him and Malefic really only made up because they could see and understand each other's pasts. They literally could see each other's memories and see and understand each other that way. Kara and Lena can't do that yet. I have a feeling. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't really know where this feeling comes from. I just hope it's right. But I just have a feeling that Kara and Lena are just going to be able to, during this episode maybe, or at least Kara, can get a look into what Lena had dealt with or, something like that, and then they can understand each other. I feel like this episode could help them understand each other, and because they need that. They need to see and understand. And I feel like obviously it's going to be the return of a bunch of characters. Hopefully we see Sam Arias. We got a mention of her last night. Hopefully we see, I would love to see Khaleesi Flockhart. I don't know if they can get her, but I hope that they can. Just to see Kat back again and tell Kara to her face that she knows she's Supergirl, because that's what we deserve. I would love to see Lucy Lane come back. Obviously, Wynn is coming back for the Back from the Futures episode. I don't know if he's going to stick around. I don't know. But we'll see about that. Who else? Who else would I like to come back? Well, if Livewire wasn't dead, then I would like to see her back. I would like to see Imra back. I really enjoyed her character. Who else? God, I don't know. I hope James comes back for the 100th episode because, as much as I've kind of enjoyed that he's not been around, I just want him to come back to be, he was one of the original, he was one of the Three Musketeers in the original seasons. So, I don't know. It would be nice to have him back. Yeah, so, I don't know. Hopefully we can see a bunch of characters. I feel like it's going to be similar to Arrow's 100th episode because that was an episode where, I would love to see Allura, Astra. That'd be cool. Have Erica Durance play Allura and Astra. That'd be awesome. And obviously, like I was saying, in the Arrow's 100th episode, it was part of the Invasion crossover. So basically, it was Oliver, Sarah, Laurel, all of them. Dinah. I don't know. I can't remember who was in the show at that point. But anyway, so they all go into this dreamland because the crazy aliens put them there, the invaders. And so Oliver gets to see all of these people in his life that have been dead or whatever, and it's at this party, and it brings back all of these old villains and all of these old characters and everything. It was so beautiful. And so that's just what I feel like Supergirl's 100th episode is going to be. It's going to kind of be a reflective vision of what the show has become and what it used to be. So that's really cool. And we just got some tidbits. I'm so glad that I waited a little bit to record this because they're outside filming today for the 100th episode, and somebody saw a pap who hangs around there. He saw Melissa as Kara filming, and Kara rips open her shirt to reveal that she is Supergirl to the whole world. Again, I feel like this whole thing is like dream sequence kind of stuff, like Kara's gonna look and see what ramifications that choice would have had. I don't know. I'm really curious. Some people have even said, what if it was like, oh, Lena's died, or what would the world look like if Kara had told Lena right off the bat? And so, I don't know. I'm really interested to see where this goes. I don't know. I'm just really excited. I'm so excited for Crisis. Hopefully you guys are so excited too. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's good. They've been hyping it for a year, so I really hope that it's good. I mean, I've got high expectations, but I also don't, because I genuinely feel like, especially some of these crazy guest stars, I feel like it's just going to be like a revolving door of people just dying on screen. Like, we're going to see everybody just collapse. But I hope that Kara gets her due time in the crossover. Super excited to see Baby John in the crossover. Super excited to see how it could possibly lead into that Clark and Lois show. I don't know. I'm just so excited. Like I said, I need to figure out exactly how I'm going to do my coverage of Crisis for next week. I will keep everybody updated on Twitter, but I think, as of right now, my plan is basically just to let the episodes air, kind of do my rundowns, write up, type up my reactions, my thoughts, everything the night of that episode that aired, and then basically do 3 episodes in a row. So Crisis will air. I think I'm gonna post Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I will try to be true to that. I will be off. My school week ends on Wednesday, so that's the end of my semester, so it won't interfere with my schoolwork, if you were worried about that, because I know that some people reached out and they were like, hey, don't worry about this, you're in school. I'm like, yeah, it's fine, this is what I do for fun, so I'm handling it. I got it, guys, I got it. So yeah, I'm just really excited. I don't know, let me know how you feel about Crisis. Let me know how you felt about this episode. Let me know if you miss my Batwoman recaps. I'm so sorry about that. Let me know if you liked the Batwoman episodes, because I have been hearing some opinions that this past episode, this mid-season finale, was crazy bonkers. So I'm excited to watch it. And you can rate, review, like, subscribe, whatever, do all the things. You can leave a review on iTunes. That'd be really cool. I read them all, and they're so sweet and so nice. And thank you to every single person who's written one. It makes my day. And I hope you guys have a good week. And I will see you guys 3 times next week. I hope you don't get sick of me. And also, let me know what you think of that model for Crisis. If you would just rather me wait until like Thursday and just post a huge episode, or if you would rather have me break it down into episodes. I feel like it would work better and not seem so overwhelming and not be like 3 hours long if I could just if I broke it down into 3 separate days. But let me know what you think, because obviously you guys are the ones who enjoy it. I just make it. You guys enjoy it. So I would much rather cater to whatever you guys want me to do. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.